Basically, this tweet talks about how people fall victim to spinning their wheels on the wrong types of information. And I know this is very important, so I'm going to put it to the beginning of the video. Okay, so many people waste their time consuming information they cannot apply, which prevents us from learning meaningful connections that will deteriorate long-term growth. We see this time and time after self-improvement with highly motivated people who are willing to change, and yet, guys, they make no action. What is this? Well, the reality is very simple. Even in schooling, we see countless people go to school, get a profession on things they don't like. So guys, what is really going on? The answer is we are constantly consuming content we cannot apply. And we are wasting our time, energy, and effort. And opportunities. So again, to break free from the cycle, we have to look at what I previously mentioned, which is what makes us authentic. Authenticity cannot compete with competition because there's nothing to compare ourselves to. The real value of learning begins with putting all the information into practice, with knowing that you have learned and put objectives to the thing you have mastered. So again, in this world, we are threatened by people's voices telling us what to do, whether it's your parents urging you to become a doctor, a lawyer, or a nurse. Everyone has an opinion on how you should live your life. But how does that make sense? How does someone ultimately depict how I want to live my life, even though they're completely separate from my life? So, is this making sense? Because this is not making sense. So, by flipping the switch, everybody, what I told you is that we should have our own, learn the basic fundamentals to a point of mastery. And I'll explain why this is a very important concept. So I remember when I would always read the latest self-improvement books, thinking that they would be the key to my success. I read so many articles and videos on how to become better based on the newest techniques. But as everyone knows, I felt more stuck than ever. It wasn't until that I was missing the principle of time management and having a clear mission that I must act upon. I was caught in the cycle of surface level learning, never driving into the complexities of the author's true intent. But this is what I told you. Mastery is heavily important because it makes you stand out. When you get into that point, when you know every detail, every nuance, no machine, no tool, no person can match your expertise. This level of mastery ensures that you are uniquely positioned to excel and innovate, as you are able to climb and apply your knowledge in ways that other people cannot. This is why I urge you to find your niche before other people find it. So, as you know, everyone talks about this concept called flow, and you're probably wondering, what is flow? So think about that for a second. When you truly know what is working and isn't working on a time scale, nothing can replace you. And this is basically what flow does. Mastery allows us to confidently take on the challenges, innovate, and make contributions to the world. Have you ever thought of mastering the basics so that the advanced concepts become second nature? Because I know there's this one example of like many people who take algebra and they take geometry, sometimes even algebra 2, it doesn't really matter, and then they take pre-calc and they get lost because it's a very large jump. And I was that student, so yeah, so I got lost pre-calc, and then I was like, oh, what do I have to take calculus if I already got stuck? And now my teacher has to go tell me what to do, and I got stuck, and I don't have the right resources. I can either go on Khan Academy, or I could just get stuck, and now I probably don't want to learn math anymore. So I had to go on Khan Academy, of course, but you know, it is what it is. I really wish people would understand the basic fundamentals before diving deeper into hard, complex things that wouldn't really make a whole big difference. So this is what mastery allows us to do when we know the basic fundamentals. Because when we do this, This deep understanding is what other people yearn for, turning competition into an opportunity for authenticity and growth. So, guys, this tweet explains how your daily activities actually turn into full-blown professions. So guys, you're probably like wondering, how do I make my hobby into a daily profession? Doesn't this take a lot of time? Yes, it does. But, there's always that one secret method where you can actually make your work feel like play. Well, and you're thinking, how do I do that? Well, guys, so simple. It's your hobby. Yeah, it's your hobby. Yeah. Your hobby is so cool because it actually allows you to do that. And with the internet, 10x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x in a year? That's crazy. How did you do that? Well, people figure it out. And I'm probably going to figure it out. So you can figure it out. Good job, guys. Wow. Good job. Good job. So, of course, the answer, it's not hard. It's very straightforward. But it just takes years or decades to even figure out. You have to begin with experimenting with things that you wouldn't normally do on a regular basis. Whether it's creating content, networking with other people in your same interests, learning all the details of your hobby, this is very important fundamentals. It's all about what interests you, and when you begin the process, notice the process of accelerated returns with interest, and eventually you'll become a master in no time. Time works in your favor. Because I was one of those people who thought hobbies were fun, but then I realized the true power of accelerated returns by how much I was heavily invested in my hobby. Then the opportunities came rolling in. All the time I spent perfecting my skills was not wasted. It was an investment to other general interests. I spent that mastery opens doors to opportunity that I wouldn't have predicted. You have to think about this very carefully, guys. People will lead you into a position where your hobbies are just distractions. But they're wrong. They just want to fulfill their dreams before yours. But the only key to standing out is to really leverage that hobby to create real-world impact and success. When you break away from distractions and focus on mastering something, that's when the game changes and new paths begin to really reveal themselves. And this tweet explains that many people get wrecked because people find their specific knowledge before you. And I'll explain why this is a very bad thing. Without specific knowledge, we often find ourselves chasing many things that don't lead to real-world progress. And yet, we follow many trends set by others and focus on very general skills. I used to be in this spot for almost a decade, but it wasn't until I figured out that I like to build websites, code, and read books. The problem is when someone else discovers or masters that specific knowledge before us. They can take advantage of us because they know significantly much more information than we do. They're playing the game of irreplaceability. So you're probably wondering, how do I become irreplaceable? Well, you have to be very good at the thing you do, and something that other people can't replace. And this is why you have to beat that person. Okay, no. Okay, the more you stand out, the more value you put on the table. So this is why I urge you to make your hobbies into a career. So middle school was very rough. I remember all that envy and jealousy I would get when I looked at my friends and they had something I didn't. Seeing something that I didn't have that I could have easily gotten pressured me to know things faster than all my friends and family. I wanted to obtain something I knew I could get. I knew that all my friends could inherently destroy me. So I said anyways. So when I began to experiment with building websites, learning Python, talking with new people, the opportunities came rolling in. When I created all the things I really wanted to build and had the knowledge to deepen my understanding with it, I wanted everyone that I will to connect to have the success I wanted to have. To recreate this, all you have to do is to stand out by being really good at your hobby and take it from there. Because again, the opportunities come rolling in. So basically, this tweet explains the common mistakes when others find their specific knowledge before you. So guys, this is basically what the tweet talks about. So for years of my life, looking at all these influencers and people, I'm like, how do I make sense of the creator economy? Like, it's very diluted. I see a lot of very questionable things, and I'm like thinking to myself, how do I make a spot? So basically, what you have to do, again, basically, I think from this video title, is you have to be very authentic. You have to know what you're good at. So as I'm mimicking all these influencers and celebrities, I'm basically trying to like get a common trend of what they're doing. And because I'm copying, I fall so much harder because I do not have the grounding of what they are doing, because they are so much popular than I am. So all this time I would copy because I didn't really have a choice in my life, because I was just trying to create a sense of stability by copying someone else. My life has never been more volatile and more reactive before. So as you know, when I shifted my focus to discovering what I wanted rather than what everyone else needed, I noticed that I liked being informed with new tech and utilizing it in my Python and in my own websites. By using this approach, this genuinely interested me, as it was the progress I always wanted to see, but I never have. So I remember when I was caught in the cycle of being very intimidated by others. I never knew where to begin. It was so frustrating to see others achieving things that just seemed out of reach. But as I began to slowly rely on what I wanted to do and what society wants but doesn't have, I truly discovered what I can experiment, and by lighting this flame, I have created new opportunities that would in the end create value. I know what it's like. So by focusing on your skills and then leveling up to mastery, we become irreplaceable. Okay, this tweet explains that authenticity is a truly hidden superpower, and competition alone cannot compete with it. And I'll explain why authenticity is the only way you can compete. You can create wealth, riches, and power. So, how does it create wealth, riches, and power? That's a very convoluted question, right? No, it's not. Well, the reality is very simple. When you create something that society wants but doesn't have, you create attention. With this principle, it also generates value, because attention is value. The gain of authenticity is exponential, meaning that it returns accelerated returns. So guys, attention in today's age is the most important commodity. It instantly transfers to power, as you are influencing others to see it as an opportunity. So let's think about this. What does everyone want? People often want knowledge, power, riches, love, reputation, health, and most importantly, opportunities. By creating authenticity, we create attention and influence. And because it's the most traded commodity, we put emphasis on opportunities. When we put our own twist on solving problems our own way, we can accelerate the process of returns. By demonstrating your strengths to unmet needs, we create new opportunities that weren't available. So, I know it's very hard to be authentic. Nowadays, we watch brain rot and very questionable content. Why is this content here? Why is this content here? Like, I don't even understand. So, but, it is what it is. All these algorithms gotta profit somehow. I mean, I don't blame anyone. But when we really look at the formulas about how all these influencers and billionaires make wealth, riches, and power, it's really all the same process. They all create a want that society has but doesn't have at scale. By focusing on your strengths and solving unmet needs in a way that you can process in a way that others can't mimic, you create something people value. I've seen this authenticity make miracles, turning the world in a much richer and safer world than it was 50 years ago. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video of me explaining my tweets, my tweet storm, and a very detailed breakdown. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and subscribe.